need a signature, or have I already signed it?
No, yeah, we need signature. Hold on, you got that one?
Yep.
Just wait a minute, that's if you want vacation.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what the heck? We all please stand and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Kyle?
Here.
Mr. Hill?
Here.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
You notice the pothole growing and boiling, boiling, stalls.
We have a whole litter of them out there.
Yeah, I know. I get people there.
Why it's
Swing
boil, the
by.
bowl at Stoltz, that's not a pothole, it's not in the grade. I know what you're talking about now, that's not a pothole. That is,
Oh, no.
that's off the road.
Oh, it's off the
That's
road.
the shoulder of the road where those trucks are cutting that corner.
Well-
Remember we dumped all that blacktop in there?
Yeah.
You know, they pushed all that blacktop up in that field.
Oh,
I don't know what,
concrete.
yeah,
I'll
we're
buy
not
you
gonna do.
big concrete.
Well, unfortunately, that's not even our property.
Ah,
That's those people's property. So those guys
Just
coming up through
curious.
there, what is that, the Hog Boys, that own that through there?
No, they don't own that corner. They farm it up.
They farm it. But
You
anyway,
know, they don't own that.
yeah, those trucks coming up through there keep pushing out, every time we put,
well, you know explanations. I just was curious
big
about.
honk, it's a big honk right there right now, if you go look. They just
Well,
push right up on the
I
bank.
just get people mad when I got
Hey.
slow up to swing wide
Yeah, that's right.
around the hole. But that's me. I get everybody mad
We got
anyway.
we got 2 RC out here right now that we're gonna use to fill some of that stuff down. Even though it's not gonna stay, we'll put some more in it here shortly. But yes, we do know about, most of our potholes were filled last week in our township. We got a couple of them that's popped up, since then, but we had a couple of days last week, that, was warm enough and we was able to get, the coal patch heated up enough to be able to apply it, so we did go out, I went out and applied it. And then as more occur, we will get another load, from the blacktop plant.
I don't need no explanation.
Yes, you
guys
do.
are
You
doing
wouldn't
a
ask the
good
question.
job.
Did he
I
ask?
asked the question,
You
I
asked
said,
the
know
question.
about the hole. Next thing I get is soliloquy. What
Yes.
do I look like, Shakespeare?
You asked the question, you got the answer.
All right.
You done?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is that the only thing you have?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming.
You can go home now.
I got new business.
Oh, don't you like how you get treated here?
Hey, it's all part of the family.
They fly helicopter.
It's sort of like Thanksgiving.
All right, we'll move on here to, since no one else has any public comment, supervisor
Yes,
comment.
excuse me,
Yeah, go ahead.
could mine be public comment?
Well, that depends on what you want.
Well, you know where I live.
Yes,
Where,
well,
what
then,
comment's been,
yeah.
there's been 2 changes.
Okay.
They've cleaned up, and there's a for sale sign in the yard.
Oh,
Thanks for looking up.
there you go.
But there's someone still living in the trailer.
Yeah, and I know that our chief, was aware of that, and he was gonna address it.
Okay.
Well, did you have an opportunity to go out and to,
I have not yet, after Wednesday.
on that point? Because, yeah, he is aware, he's actually had a conversation, I believe, with the gentleman, have you not?
He's a witness for me.
Oh, okay.
Zip zip.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, but so anyhow, he's aware of what's going on with that. Anything else?
Sorry for this.
All right, supervisor, Connie, you got anything?
I have none. Wait a minute, I'll rescind that. I want to thank Mr. Barlow, Bruce, and Rick Hartle for taking care of things with the road while I was not here to help them during the month of February, so I wanna thank them for doing what they did.
You're welcome. What did I say last night?
God knows, I don't know.
Every February, he goes to Florida, right when it snows.
There is a method to my madness.
There's a method, so. Yeah, but anyhow, we gotta take care of that, was good. And we're glad Bobby's back, from Florida. You have anything else?
No, that was it.
Fred?
Nope.
Alrighty, we're gonna move on to the minutes for February the 4th of 2025, for a regular, meeting. Did everyone have an opportunity to review those minutes?
I have.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes. Red?
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Alrighty, line 6, treasurer's report for February 2025. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the treasurer's report?
Yes.
Yep. A motion to approve the treasurer's report is presented.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. It's all 6A, yeah, that's it. Alright, 7, expenses. A, invoices from 2000, little day. From February, the 5th of 2025 to March the 4th of 2025. Everyone have an opportunity to review the invoices.
Yes, I have.
I have.
I'll make a motion that we accept.
I'll
Second.
second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
B is the payroll for, January 26th of 24, January 26th of 25.
Yeah, that's in here.
That's okay, I got it. And to, February 8th of 2025. Mr. Hill, you, reviewed payroll?
I did.
You wanna make a motion to approve payroll?
Motion to approve the payroll.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next one is, payroll from 2/9 of 2025 to 2/22 of 2025. Mr. Hill, you also approved that one?
I did. Motion to approve the payroll.
I'll second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next thing, police department. You're up, chief.
The month of February, we patrolled total of 1,812 miles in 221 hours. We did have an officer out for 2 weeks for surgery, almost 3, I guess. We handled a total of 114, we were dispatched on 114 incidents, we handled 97 of them. To include a felony arrest and 2 misdemeanor arrests, DUI drug arrest in Freedom Township, PFA violation in Liberty Township, and a felony criminal mischief in Liberty Township. Our MVR's license plate reader will go live on Thursday. All of our vehicles on hand have been lettered and are now uniformed. We are receiving quotes for 8 new tires for the patrol units. And Patrol 322 is still at the upfitters. It should be delivered at the end of March. The winter storm kept the patrols busy with crashes. And we have also been allotted DUI enforcement and aggressive driving campaign monies in the month of March, which we will be participating in. All body cam footage which is over 60 days in non-evidentiary, is purged as per policy.
Okay. So what we want, does anyone have any questions for the chief?
I have none.
Bobby?
No.
Alright, we're
May I
going,
ask?
go ahead.
Yes, I do. Who are you getting quotes from? Because you and I discussed.
For the tires,
Tires, yes, I'm sorry.
I have, so far I've gotten one from Blue Boss. Well, Blue Boss hasn't given me one yet. They don't know if they're co-stars or not.
Ah.
I got one from, Buchanan Trail Tire, and just called I believe it was the old K&W up in, Gettysburg. I can't remember their name right now, but called them for a quote as well.
Did you get a quote, did you reach out to S&S Tire?
I'm not
They
sure.
definitely are a resource, provider and a co-star provider. So
Okay.
they're on both of those.
Well, I'll put that on the list, we'll make sure we talk with them.
And 'cause, they have a shop in Chambersburg on 11, and they have one in Biggerville on 234.
Will do.
Okay,
Question,
yes, sir.
on this helicopter MOU, what's that about?
Would you just jumping ahead?
Well, you skipped that.
Hey, I'm
He did
gonna
not
check
yet.
you
We're not
off in
there
a
yet.
second. Wow.
Anyway,
Okay, so, and the police car is going to, Scott's on Thursday.
yeah, for the third quote, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we had a minor crash. It was not any fault of an officer. Believe it was a linkage issue. I found that model Expedition and F-150s and 250s actually had a recall for their shift linkage clip. It was showing it in one gear, and it was actually in another.
so what did you do to address that?
So right now, nothing, because what is that, Explorers were not on the list for the recall. So I'm gonna try and contact Ford and see what they can do.
Alright, yeah, cause that was,
And, you know, whenever it goes in to be repaired, I mean, it hasn't happened again, but we don't want it to happen again either.
oh, yeah, we were very fortunate, on that one, that when it happened right out here, that there was not a car going
No
across.
traffic,
We
yes.
would have had a problem there. And then, again, we got 2 passes. If it hit that new, $4,000 speed enforcement sign, that would have not made me happy.
Me either.
Especially since we have.
So yes, it will be addressed, it will be addressed. I'm hoping Ford will honor their recall of the others for the same year,
Okay,
so.
yeah, I'm saying, cause when it happened, I think it was a conversation we had immediately the same day was, is there a linkage problem? And if there is a linkage problem, is it something that might be covered on the recall?
Right.
Or if they're aware of, because.
And I immediately started research.
Okay, alright, that sounds good, appreciate that.
Sir,
Get stuck, I got a guy.
okay, I know that.
He's got it yet.
He knows the guy that has a guy.
So we're gonna do this, so, the board of supervisors have an opportunity to review the helicopter MOU with Triple R Aviation LLC.
Yes.
Alright, I know some things that went back and forth around about insurance and about how, the liability and stuff like that. So what we've done over the past week or two, we've reached out to our insurance company, Adams County, National Bank and Insurance Association, whatever they are now. Anyhow, and we had their input and had them review, the MMU, also, the insurance policy. They went through that whole thing. They had some, questions that they kicked back, and, Ryan is here with us tonight. He's actually the owner of the helicopter. So he's gonna address those things because, everything was forwarded to him, and then, his attorney, I think, is with you also?
No, that's the pilot.
Oh, that's the problem, okay. But anyhow, he went to his attorney to address the questions that the insurance company has. So we're gonna let Ryan address this to the board, because he's more familiar with what's going on. Okay, Ryan?
You're gonna defer to Mike?
Yeah, so,
That's fine. Who would you
yeah,
talk to?
Tripwire South is providing all the liability coverage. Tripwire Aviation has, an umbrella policy that covers it with, Tripwire South. And I'll let Mike talk about the aircraft and all the insurance specifications with the FAA and such.
Yeah, so the way that it's gonna work, we're gonna be using an MOU, which is similar to a contract, like if we were gonna, be retained by an organization for services, either for electric utility or for whatever, there would be a contract in place, and as a provider under the FAA Part 91 regulations, subpart 114, 133, so we're a commercial air commerce operator, and we have to carry liability insurance. We also have to carry hull, it's called hull insurance on an aircraft. So anything that we would be doing under the MOA and under the performance of duties for the township, we would hold the liability and insurance in that for anything that would occur on the ground if there was an emergency or some sort of an engine failure. And then also the aircraft is covered under that policy as well. So like we do work on the high tension power lines, like energized, over top of people's farms and different things. So it's all that liability would carry to the same type of operations that we would be doing in a law enforcement support capacity. The MOU is a contract of sorts, but really since we're volunteering our services and giving back to the community, it's just a way to protect you and to protect our organization with an agreement in writing, and it allows us to operate and do what we need to do under the FAA rules and regulations as well.
Basically, like aircraft's it's a $1 million aircraft, and then Mike and I have secured FLIR systems and other camera systems totaling around $350,000 for the purposes of just augmenting Liberty's capabilities. We'll call it that. So we're able to do work at night. We have night vision. We have the FLIR system to identify heat objects, things of that nature, in case we need to do search and rescue and the like. So we have a considerable investment into seeing that the township gets the best assets.
Go ahead.
Ryan, it's my understanding that we're on an addendum, correct, insurance addendum?
I provided a copy to
Yes.
the board for
Okay,
review.
the board knows that, and during the flight, or during your duties, what do you think if we would call, Mike, I'll say Mike instead of Ryan, Mike, what do you think your in the air time is?
In terms of
If I give you a call, I need you, all right?
15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain, folks. The other day, we had an emergency at Gettysburg Hospital, which we were very concerned that it was a copycat of UPMC.
Yeah.
PSP didn't get their helicopter in the air or in our area until 5 minutes before the incident was turned over. And we were there for 2 hours. Okay? Most people in this area cannot rely on Pennsylvania State Police helicopter. They go to Maryland State Police. All right? But Maryland won't fly for us until we call PSP first and get a denial.
Right.
So you're losing valuable time. And this aircraft, or ship as I always call them, isn't just available for Liberty. Yes, it'd be based out of our area. It's our aircraft, but other agencies would have the ability to request assistance. And we can be in the air in 15 minutes, opposed to an hour and 45 minutes.
Right.
It really means a lot, and it's no harm, no cost to our township.
Right. I know under the Fairfield Municipal on the emergency management, which we had a meeting last week or the week before, one of the scenarios we had, we were setting up for everybody in the township, we will be putting it on our website, we're looking for volunteers for search and rescue. Because what we've seen, particularly in our area, the FEMA, is we have elderlies that have been wandering off with dementia, Alzheimer's. We had a child last year in Nortana that was autistic, came up missing, and he was missing for about 6 hours. We did find him. He was fortunately crawled under his house. We wasn't anywhere else. But anyhow, we did find him. And so this is another tool. If we have a helicopter available for us, we could use search from the air, as Ryan has indicated, with night vision and heat sensing, body sensing, where they could actually pick up a lot of someone's body temperature on the ground, stuff like that. So, and as our conversation has been, that we make this available not just to Liberty and our partners in Freedom Township and Holland Township, but make it available to all entire Adams County. It'll be, as I said, it will be flying under Liberty Township colors, but we will make it available to the entire Adams County residents as a whole, if they have the same incidents across the county.
Where is the helicopter now?
Currently, it's at Carroll County Airport, but it's moving here.
What, emergency management?
No, we're building a facility in Mount Joy Township right now.
Have you talked to helicopter applicators? Maybe they can help you out with it.
We've had conversations with them.
Well, they're kind of funny, but they're pretty useful.
Richard's a pilot, if he didn't reveal that information, he's a helicopter pilot.
Are you?
Yeah, he was.
No.
You still got your license, don't tell me.
No, from what I was
I got
told
my
by a
license.
friend of mine who is a retired Virginia State Trooper who was a pilot, once you become a pilot, you're always a pilot. It just depends on what you wanna fly, whether you have to do testing or not.
Yeah.
But am I wrong, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay.
like a Marine.
Yeah, that's correct. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
He
But,
was a spray pilot.
yes.
He
yeah.
had, he snorted a lot of
They
spray.
used to pay me to get high seal things, okay?
So anyhow,
But my medical is the problem.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you gotta jump through so many hoops, so, no, it's great if you guys wanna do it.
Yeah, actually, part of the reason that, Ryan's with his association with the Township Police Department, we're kind of just looking, we're based locally and we're trying to give back to the community, not just Liberty Township, but countywide. We're talking with Adams Electric and we're trying to build a public safety, public security model, that, if there's an issue where there's a storm and people need to get in the air to observe damage or find, a lost.
What do you got, an R-22 or a Jet Ranger?
We have an Indy 500 and
Oh.
and a Hughes 300.
That's, those,
I was gonna say, they own more than one aircraft, so the aircraft dedicated to the police isn't like, you don't think it's always gonna be flying like high tension wires or anything
Yeah.
that's dedicated to the police, okay?
Yeah.
And this is no different, folks, if we owned a K-9, if we had a SWAT team, they're all specialty divisions of a law enforcement.
just another tool, that's all.
Yeah, and one of the things that's nice about it too, is if we move forward with this, it opened up grant money for the Liberty Township Police
Absolutely.
Department because we have an air unit. It absolutely opens up, federal and state funding, so it's like, we'll give this a shot. It's no cost to us, so hey, if it works out, that's great. If it don't, we can say, hey, well, we need to address it, so that's kind of where we're at.
You're right, it can open up other doors.
Mike and I we're actively pursuing a $4 million grant right now. It's a time-sensitive grant, so we need permission before we can sign it.
Right.
And not only that, these two guys have traveled to DC, 4 times in the last month?
3, yeah.
I met with John Fetterman, they met with other senators from, Wisconsin. They, all about the aviation funding available.
Right.
So, I mean, we're serious about this.
Yeah. Chris, do you have any, questions for, Mr. Morris or the police department about the helicopter?
No. Yeah, I'm just reviewing this MOU. Are we expecting to execute on this tonight?
Yes. Yeah, because we had it on the table a couple of times. Matter of fact, I have it on my thing from last time that we already approved it. I have it written right on the thing.
I don't know why you wrote this, we didn't vote on it.
Yeah,
I didn't think so either, but I was
Yeah,
like,
we
why
didn't
did you
vote
do
on
that?
it, you were
Yep.
just, you were.
That's your notes that you were approving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Notes itself.
no, next to self.
But anyhow, all right, so, yeah, we're gonna act on this tonight. As I said, there's funding available, if we don't act on it soon, we're not gonna be able to do, the fund, as far as the grants.
My only question is so if it's gonna be an Adams County thing as well, right? So what's the liability to the township associated with our involvement to the county?
No. Explain that.
Yeah, so the MOU is just an agreement, so we need an agreement with a government organization or government entity to be able to operate under what's called public use, to be able to kind of do this. But if we're dispatched to, Adams Electric or Highland Township or whatever it might be, we're operating as Tripwire Aviation under the FAA rules and regulations and whatever liability insurance that we carry. If there was an engine failure and we had to do an emergency landing into a field and we crushed somebody's fence, like we're gonna be responsible for that.
What if we kill somebody?
What if it's covered under our insurance?
Let's stick with the fence.
Well, they have millions of dollars.
I really don't care about fence. I care about people. Oh, don't get me wrong, I care about the people too. I just, yeah. I mean, for the record, I care about people.
Mr. Hill, also, just to add to what you're saying, if we're called by an outside agency to assist, we have understandings between this department and everyone else in the county to provide mutual aid, so we're covered that aspect
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's all about liability, right?
Yes, and not only that,
That was the thing about the mutual aid to other townships.
yes, and not only that, we have looked into a possible contractual obligation to the other townships for refunding if they would like to go on board. So we might have you put that together.
Yeah,
It's not 100% yet, but
Yeah.
we're looking at that.
There's a model that we're working at, and this is kind of a pilot program for us as well, where we're talking about that public safety, public security model, where, you know, eventually, and kind of to back up a little bit, where Chief had talked about previously, like, it's gonna bring other opportunities to Liberty Township Department, if to do trainings and different things. You can be a host department
Right.
to do canine familiarization training with aircraft, various things like that. But in addition, what we're trying to do is if we're successful here in Liberty Township, you may be able to go to the other townships in the county and say, look, this is an asset that we've utilized. We have a pilot program in place. You know, you can give the report like we responded to this many incidents, you know, X, Y, Z. And they could potentially buy into it, kind of like the boat club concept or boat sub model, where, you know, for a small amount of membership fee, like it could be countywide, it could be tri-county, it could be Franklin, Adams, and York. Like, there's a lot of possibilities. We've been kind of doing some pro formas and different things, trying to figure out what that would look like. But, you know, a good start and a small start is right here in Liberty, and it's something that we can manage and
I'll make the statement, I think that this type of private-public partnership is the right way to go about doing this, so I get it, right?
Yeah.
This is not something that, and if it's something that we get we can be the pilot program for, I'm completely in favor.
Yeah.
You know.
This isn't a moneymaker for us, okay?
Trust me.
We're losing money.
Absolutely, no, that's not lost by me as well.
We're you know, even me working here, that's not, I do it because I want to help.
Yep.
It's not. I
Well, these are great
understand
models.
that this is not a.
And we're trying to solve a problem, because as Chief also mentioned, you know, when there is an issue where you have a senior citizen that's wandered off or a missing child or whatever, you call that PSP asset, if they even will fly, it's 2 hours. And I think in 2024, some of the research I did, out of all the calls that Adams County made for air support, Maryland responded to over 70% of those.
Absolutely correct.
And it's still, and then by that time, 2 hours, an hour and a half has gone by before they get the denial from PSP, and then Maryland's coming up from Frederick. You got 555 coming up.
Right.
And those hours could be precious. You have an aircraft that could be in the air in 15 minutes here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You know, so, do you have any other questions for them as far as the, MOU?
No, as far as I'm concerned, I'm excited about it. I think it's a great thing. I think we have everything put in place for protection.
Okay.
I say get the bird in the air, and I make a motion that we do so.
Can I ask one more question?
Okay.
Can you just explain to me the cost reimbursement model? So, you know, I've done enough medevac flights to understand what happens and who's responsible. So I understand in a medevac case how that's different than a police case. Can you talk to me about how you guys get reimbursed? And again, it's not a money maker.
Well, initially, there is no reimbursement.
Okay, you're doing it on your dime.
We are
This is
volunteer-
on, this
we're
is on
volunteer.
my, this is out of my checkbook.
Shoot.
So, provided if we get federal funding like Mike and I are applying for, and with the chief's blessing, we'll apply for federal funding, and we've met with Senator Fetterman, we met with the House Appropriations Chairman, and we're looking at getting money there for some support as well.
And that comes out of FAA grants, or?
There's FAA grants, there's some federal grants, law enforcement grants. There's 3 or 4 different avenues we're going for right now. And we have everything in place except for like the partnership with the township. So I think once those are solidified, we'll be able to actually go after some of that federal money, and hopefully be successful with it. But as of right now, to answer your question, like, this is all out of Tripwire Aviation's checkbook, and we're just doing it to extend services to our community.
Or whatever I can do to help you, let me know.
So what is your background, yours personally, for part-time?
Yeah, so I've been in the aviation industry and helicopter pilot since 1996. Most of it's in the electric utility space, electric utility world, so anytime you've seen those helicopters flying next to high tension power lines doing maintenance and inspection and patrols, that's kind of where I come and my background is at, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, cool. Alright. Any other questions? I have a motion on the table, do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Alright.
great. Good, guys, get your Ferrari wings. Oh,
Thank you, John.
I'm gonna show you, so you're gonna give them to them?
Yeah. Yes.
I was getting ready to show it to them.
You was gonna show off, weren't you?
Thank you.
This
That's
aircraft will be known in Adams County as Liberty One.
Yeah, there's one. Air Support Unit 1. Cool.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Here, I'll do that by email. We'll square them.
Alright, so the next thing we have here tonight on our agenda, thank you gentlemen, we absolutely
Thank you.
appreciate it, thanks a lot.
Thank you,
We'll
Joe.
see you in the air.
Yep, absolutely, thank you.
Is a request for disposal of items on the police department, the purge list. You have a purge list in front of you. Hopefully you had an opportunity to look down at this. Some of the stuff that we've had laying around here for many, many years is not being utilized by the police department. So the only way we can actually get rid of this stuff is we have to do a purge. And so it's all listed on your sheet there. So I'm gonna make a motion that we move forward with the purge of the items that were presented to the township today to be disposed of.
I'll second that motion.
All in what favor?
Aye.
Alright. One thing I don't see on here, Wendy, is those records that we have out in the garage. Is that
What are those paper records? That'll come by resolution, that doesn't go this way, so if
we're not-
she didn't give it to me yet, so I'll ask her about it.
Alright, because we're planning on doing a disposal this week.
Well, I'll ask her and see if there are actually records. She did not give me anything for records, this is all I received from the police department.
Could you have the chief come back in for a minute, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir.
Chief, one of the things we don't have on your purge list here is those boxes of records out here.
Those boxes of records aren't to be purged. They're not. They are just out here right now for storage, to my knowledge.
Okay. So
Okay?
you don't have anything, because she said to me the other day about, because we're getting ready to do some burn from some other stuff that we've already, and she said she had records.
Wait, let me check them. Let me check.
You go ahead, I'm gonna move on to something else.
Yeah,
Check
please
it
do.
out. So the next thing is the chief is asked to go for this training. This training that is going to the Chiefs Association, Adams County Chiefs Association, is sponsoring this national conference in Atlantic City. So they're paying for the training classes and everything. He's asked for, you see it's this is no expense to the township with the exception of tolls, fuel for the patrol vehicle, and his wages while he's there. So does anyone have any problems with him going for this training for the next? How many days is the training?
3 days.
3 days.
Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I hope to be back Tuesday for the meeting,
Okay.
but it's no expense at all. It's totally free due to my rank, and my room is covered by other
We
entities.
pay the gas and tolls and your wages.
You'll pay gas, tolls, and wages, yeah, or I take a car, right.
And this is drug violence prevention training conference.
Drug violence and aggressive behavior, and a lot of, it's focused on our young people. All right, it's for the trends of the young people right now, in 8th grade, 9th grade. So it's gonna help me have a little knowledge, cause I've been away from that for a couple of years, you know.
So does will this achieve a certification for you? So
Yes.
you can do training as well?
Well, it'll give, I will not be a trainer, but it'll give me the knowledge to bring back to the other guys, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, as any other training we attend, we always share.
Right. Now, I make a motion that we approve his, 3-day training session, in Atlantic City.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, what did you find out about the record?
Those records are not over 20 years old,
Okay,
and they're case files,
okay,
so they are not ready to be destroyed.
so we need to remove those from here.
What we need to do is store them, yeah, I think she just moved them out there to store,
Okay,
and then, yeah,
alright,
thank you.
sounds good, thank you. Okay, the next thing we have, let's go through that. Next thing we have is the zoning and sewer enforcement. A few things on our, sewer, land use and driveway permits. We had a permit issued for a fence, for $100. We also have, another permit was issued, doesn't say what for. Oh, that's, for right now here on top or, so what are they doing there at the Hughes place?
Where? I'm sorry.
The Hughes? Hughes,
I can't hear you.
the permit they just put in, I think it was a building permit one.
Oh, that, just skip, that's not, don't read that one because it's skipped. See how there's 0?
Yeah, I did see 0.
It just shows up anyway because I had to delete it. It'll show up next month when the
Okay.
check comes in, so you can ignore that.
Alright, the
That
complaints,
was a voided application.
okay, the complaints are putting, doing some more building over on French Creek for $100 land use permit, and then over on Orchard,
Demolition.
they're doing a demolition for $100, on there, and, Alexander had put in for $50 for a well permit to give us a total, land use and driveway permit of $350 for the month of February. Alright, road department. Alright, the road department drove 611 miles for the month of February. We had 333 miles on the 550. We had 278 miles on the Chevrolet, and then Old Yeller, that was our plow truck, 202 miles were driven on that. Of course, you know, we had a couple snow events and one ice event during the month of February. Kept us running a little bit, especially when I plucked the flue at the same time, so that was fun. But we got through that. We had a bunch of trees down because of high winds. Matter of fact, this past Saturday, we had a tree down, and then we also had a person ran off the road, hit a tree, and the dead branches from the tree came down on top of the car. And so we're out addressing that on Saturday about 9 o'clock at night. So anyhow, these trees that are dead along our roads are still problematic for the township. And we kind of get out as soon as we can to address those things. Some of the things that I know is came to Wendy's got called, so have I, is the potholes in the roads. And as I said in our monthly newsletter, we are aware of the potholes. We go out and address them as soon as we can, but when you have weather below 32 degrees, you cannot patch potholes. That's just how it is. And some people say, well, I see State out there doing it. Well, State has heated beds in their trucks. They have the ability to, it's like a flat iron. They put the cold packs in their bed. They heat their beds up to 120 degrees. Guess what? They can patch holes in the road when it's freezing out, but we cannot. So we did patch the ones that we were able to get last week because the weather went up a little bit for us. And we kept the truck sitting out here in the bay for a week and a half to unthaw the cold patch. So anyhow, we are addressing those things as they come out. So just be patient. We'll get to all the holes in the roads, hopefully.
Is cold patch even available right now?
Cold patch is available, but unfortunately it's frozen. The last load I got, when they put it in the truck, it was like rocks. And the guy, the operator, he opens the door and he goes, "You're not gonna put that out, are you?" I went, "Don't sound like it, does it?" So I said to him, It was frozen solid, but it did unthaw and we were able to get that out there. I only got half a ton because I knew, I was not gonna be able to do anything, other than that. So anyhow, we are doing that. It is coming up on, getting water out, so we'll be working, on our plan of action for, the road projects for this year. I've had a couple of, conversations with, our state representative, Jim Lesher, from the, District Gate, about some of the projects, this past week. Him and I talked very extensively about the old Waynesville Bridge project that we've been working on for the last 7, 8 years. We have been able to chip away, at that bridge. It's the only bridge that Liberty Township owns. It's a 1927 bridge. Gets inspected every 2 years. Every 2 years we get a report back from, the state saying what needs to be fixed and how the priorities, how it is. Now we're, at, the fascia needs to be repaired. They're deteriorating. Last year we put it out 3 times, for bids. We got 0 bids from anyone. No one wanted to do the work. When I called to inquire why you would not bid on our projects, they flat out told me, we pick and choose the jobs we want. Your job's too small. If I can get $1 million job versus a $38,000, I'm taking $1 million. I understand, that's where it comes, so that is, gave me the incentive to, reach out to Adams County and the Adams County, commissioners. We had a dialogue with them, tried to get them to let us piggyback on one of their bridge projects. I was told flat out no. The county does not want to open up, a municipal agreement, like that with us, because if they did it with us, they'd have to do it with everybody else. It's like, okay. So that inquired that I go back, and I called and I made an appointment to sit down with our state representative, Dan Mile. Matter of fact, Bobby went along with me, and we had the same conversation with the state representative. And I said, listen, the state's inspecting our bridges. The state's telling us that we must, do the work to these big bridges and bring them up to safe operational standards. And we're doing what we can to try to get this done, Mr. Mount, but we're getting turned down to every corner. So the conversation we had with him and what he said, he would reach out to his constituents and come up with a game plan and get back to us. As of right now, he has not got back to us. Do I anticipate he's going to? Hey, okay, we'll hold our breath and see what happens. But we are going through the ropes to do what we need to do. Bobby can confer with you, one of the things I said to Mr. Mao and I said to our county commissioners is, listen, we are reaching out for help. We're asking for help. And if we get into a situation where we have a problem with this bridge and it collapses, I'll tell you the first place I'm gonna go is the newspaper and the reporters. You know, gotta make them sit back in their chair, but, so I'm not afraid to fight for Liberty Township and try to get the help and to put the pressure on where we need to. But that's where we're at with the bridge project, so we'll see what happens. Mr. Lesher told me not yesterday, day before yesterday, that he is gonna do the same thing as I did. At the state level, he's gonna pressure, the county to let us do a piggyback on them. And then we'll pay for the job, but they include it in their bidding packet, and maybe we can get something done that way. So there's where we're at with Old Waynesville. Some of the other things we got going on here in the township, of course, our salt shed has been complete. We got all the salt has all been moved last week. We got all the salt moved from the old salt shed into the new salt shed. The power company came out and disconnected the electricity from the pole out here to the old salt shed, and then this last week, I unwired the boxes on the inside and got that all done. We moved the fuel tanks. The fuel tanks were moved last week and reconnected. We moved them one day and then reconnected them the next day, and they've been all the tanks have been filled. So now we're back up running with our fuel tanks. So today, we spent about 7 hours out there today transferring everything in the old shed down here And what we're gonna do is we're taking the old salt shed we had up here, and we're gonna utilize that as an equipment, a building. And, so we're transferring everything we had in the lower shed up to the new salt shed. And, our intention is we did get approval for a demolition permit to, Adams County, Municipal Authority. So within the next week and a half, we will be tearing this building down. As soon as we can get, a roll-off dumpster in here, cause by Friday, we'll be ready to tear it down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so by this Friday, that building will be ready for destruction, and, our intent is to, take that old, that thing's, if you would like a block for memory, we got blocks,
Give
and
away a
we
block.
can most certainly,
Mementos.
if anybody wants a memento from down, that was our original police station in the one side, and the other side was our township building, originally.
Will the board be signing the block?
Sure,
No problem.
So, we're anticipating, I'm gonna call tomorrow, and schedule to have a dumpster brought in for, the debris, and then, Bruce is anxious to, get out there with the backhoe and start taking down the building. And then once that gets taken down, there is we're gonna have to fill in part of that lower part down, is gonna get filled in, and then we'll, stone over top of that, and then when we pull in for, loading and unloading, material stuff, you'll be able to pull right out here, right in front of it, and
Well, it's gonna open everything up and give us a ton of room to work now.
yeah, absolutely. So
Instead of weeding
eventually
around buildings.
Yep, my goal, for, that whole area is, of course, you guys know a couple of years ago, we blacktopped out here in the front of the building. I'd like to, as money is available, to blacktop the other whole half, so the whole area will be blacktopped. Anyhow, we're trying to improve the property and make it more, usable for the township as a whole moving forward. So that's kind of what we've been doing the last couple of months. Did I leave anything?
I don't know, I'm getting tired.
Yep.
You did good.
Okay.
Just take
I
it,
can't think of any.
Okay, all right, that's good enough for me, have a report for one day.
All right, I'll take the planning.
Excuse me?
Do you want me to take the planning commission?
Sure, I was gonna say,
I
I
was
got a
just-
planning guy right here.
Oh, you do?
Sure, right there.
Oh, you're here, great. I didn't even see you from the back.
I don't know that we have a report.
The report is that you didn't have a meeting, correct?
That's correct.
And the report is there was no business in February.
Very succinct, thank you.
There wasn't a
Yeah, that's the
meeting.
word I was gonna use.
And then additionally, on March 18th, the planning commission will meet to review the Jesus, Mary, and Joseph revised plan.
Yes.
Thank you for the report.
No, well, and I'm not done with planning.
Okay, go ahead.
I do wanna give some direction to the planning board, there's some things that I've been thinking about for quite some time, and I've been doing some research, I've been doing some reading, and, talking to other constituents throughout Adams County about different things. Some of the things that we're facing in Adams County as a whole is a housing, problem where people don't have enough housing. So how do you address that? Well, those are one of the things we're gonna be doing when we do the, 2025 comprehensive plan. It's, something that's now in effect, that they're working on, and we're gonna be having, meetings moving forward over the next 6-7 months. But some of the things that, me personally, here in Liberty Township, we have some things on our zoning, in our zoning book now that kind of puts some restraints on what we can and can't do, what our residents can and can't do. What I've seen, over the last 4 or 5 years is we have more senior citizens that are, need to be taken care of by their family members, like their kids, whatever. And to do that, the kids need to move them into their homes or on their property. A couple of issues we've had over a few years here is we've had people come to the board saying, listen, my mother needs to have her own place, like an accessory apartment or something like that on our property where we can give care to her. And unfortunately, in our current zoning ordinance, that's not allowed. Especially if it's a detached apartment, it's not allowed, period. We do have these things going on in the township, we were aware of it going on in the township. So people are still doing it because the family member needs help. So I'm gonna direct the planning board to review, the accessory housing, in Liberty Township, and how can we address this and make it more easier for, family members to do that. Because one of the things is you have the elderly people getting older, their family needs to take care of them. So either they're gonna build an addition on the side of their house, or they're gonna convert. We had one person here not too long ago converted their garage, that was detached from their home, into living quarters for the mom and dad, which they had to jump through a bunch of hoops. They had to go for a zoning hearing board, they had to get an exception, and I think it's unnecessary, process, so we need to look at addressing that. Other things too is like family members, myself personally, I have a daughter that is, disabled. She doesn't live with me right now, she lives with her mom. But she's disabled, and other family members have the same issue where they have a disabled child and they need housing as well. And they have special needs that they have under our current ordinance. They can't do it. You can't do it. Same way with children. You know, a lot of children today. I got a 30-year-old living with me right now, and yeah, he's farming. You put it that way. But anyhow, they go off to college, and once they go off to college, then they end up coming back home because they can't afford, in today's world, they can't afford to buy a house, they can't afford to rent a place, because, you know, you're looking at rent like in Gettysburg, I know Gettysburg, I'll use Gettysburg example, the rent for a Gettysburg apartment is around $1,300 for an efficient apartment, as much as $2,500 for one bedroom unfurnished apartment. So these kids, like, you know, we can't afford this kind of stuff, so we're gonna move them back home. What are you gonna do with these kids? So that's one of the things that I want the planning board to look at and give us some alternatives on how we can change the ordinances to address some of these issues. Number 4 is that we're seeing more and more Airbnbs opening up throughout Adams County. And I know Gettysburg, for one, is put in their ordinances to address Airbnbs, and they're required to go through a permitting process and everything else. Liberty Township does not have anything in our zoning ordinance to deal with Airbnbs, and we have right now about 5 Airbnbs in our township. I'm suspecting that right now down on Petra Road, there's a place that some people bought just recently. I believe they're getting that ready for an Airbnb also. So we need to look at what we should do about addressing Airbnbs in Liberty Township, because these properties are not being taxed. We're not generating anything from them, but these people are charging. Nowadays, right up the street here, this one right up here is charging like $295 a night for a little shed that was a little off the side of their place. They turned it into Airbnb, did not turn. And my question has been, we don't allow accessories, but yet we got these Airbnbs showing up in our township, and they're throwing them up. They got their like this one up here is literally a 2-car garage they converted into an Airbnb, and people are renting it. They're out there. You can pull them up on the website. But that's in violation of our accessory housing. But do we want to deter that, or do we want to make provisions to have this to be allowed in our township? Let me see what else I have. Same way with Wendy and I had a conversation the other day is we don't have anywhere particularly in our township. We know it has to be allowed in the township somewhere. But for multifamily housing, like apartment complex or condominiums, right now, if something like that came about, the only place that I would think right now we would allow would be in our commercial district, which is 16. But I don't know that that's the place for it. Again, as I said, Ken throwing a lot on me tonight, he's like, damn, I just got put on this thing.
We'll draft a memo, okay?
Yeah, we'll draft the thing.
And address it, yeah, so you
Yeah.
don't have to
I
memorize it.
figured that.
So, again, we need to look at the comprehensive plan and address questions. Some of these questions should probably be, looked at in the comprehensive plan.
Well, I have a question.
Yes,
If you have an individual that has taken a garage and turned it into an Airbnb property, didn't they have to do something to that
to make it happen.
to make it happen?
Oh, improvements were definitely made with the amenities included to satisfy the Airbnb status, if you will.
But they did not.
And
So they
there
got a
was
permit
not-
to do that?
Not a single permit on any of these has ever been drawn. As a matter of fact, some have even circumvented the permit, not calling it an Airbnb, but advertising it as such and saying they were doing work on a farmhouse.
Right.
So, you know, that's what's going on. There's no direct,
Connection.
no direct not order, I'm trying to find the word here. Ordinance that deals with Airbnbs.
We don't have any.
But to make it something that's residential, that like a garage turning it into residential.
Yeah, there's a process that should have happened,
Yeah.
you're right.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it didn't happen. Now the question is, all right, you go back.
They went against the zoning ordinance.
Absolutely, against the, yeah, absolutely, we know they're non-compliant, they're non-conforming, they went against the zoning ordinance, absolutely. So what do? Do we drop the hammer and come down on, we got enough things going on in the township right now we're dealing with as far as attorneys, do we not? I'm just gonna throw this to you, we have a bill right now that's not reflective of him at all. Our 1 month attorney fees for the month of February was $14,000. Our budgeted amount for attorney fees for the entire year is 20. And we're only in the month of February, and we got some things going on. So we're gonna go over the budget on this, because people are not complying with township ordinances and do whatever they want, and then when we come down and say, hey, you know what, you're not doing it, that stirs up this whole thing, so now we're in litigation. So this is another thing, if we're gonna go into litigation with these people and create more, or do we say, okay, we need to address this in a different direction, because we know you're doing it, we know exactly what you're doing, we're not stupid, we drive up and down these roads every day, we see what you're doing. So how do we address these things? Because I mean, if we're gonna take everybody to court, then guess what? We need a lot more money in this township. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, we're limited, extremely limited as far as sources of revenues in the township.
Right.
To help relieve taxes for you and I. We got permits, taxes, and fines.
That's it.
That's it. There's no other way that we can really generate sources under the law and so forth, pretty much. Am I correct, Bruce, or pretty close to it?
Pretty much, yeah, I mean, other than I don't know what,
We
comes
need
from
to
the
take
police
it.
department, you know.
That much.
Yeah,
I mean, take these Airbnbs. These folks, God bless them, they want to come here and ski. I'm all for it. I like people coming through the township because most of them have a positive act or a positive time within here, but they're using our roads and so forth and so on. I really think, and I'm not talking about gougings, but some sort of line of revenue for the township is certainly in order, and I think that's where you want to see something headed.
Well, we need to look at different avenues on how we address these issues, other than the legal way, because, through the attorney court process, because it's very expensive. I mean, these guys go to college and they make the money they make because, they went to college to do these things. So I don't, have any issues with them charging what they need to charge. But the thing is a lot of people in our township not realizing, when you sue the township, you're suing yourself.
Of course.
You really are, because we're gonna have to represent the township, and that's your tax dollars. Bottom line, that's how it is. So when you don't agree with our ordinances or whatever, and you take a different direction and do whatever, and then we have to make you come into compliance, you really, it's not me or Bobby or Chris that you're hurting. You're not hurting us at all. We're just three taxpayers just like you. You're hurting the township as a whole. You know, as Mike said, you know, with these Airbnbs, they're popping up all over the county, everywhere. And most townships do not have anything in their ordinances to address Airbnbs. So if you don't have it in there, guess what?
Well,
You can't deny it.
Well, we're still getting the real estate taxes on the property. The only thing we're not getting is some kind of funds, like in Gettysburg, that they're getting, they get that,
Amusement tax.
what do you call
Pillow tax.
it? Pillow tax.
Amusement tax, et
Yeah,
cetera.
yeah, so they get
So
that.
what happens in Gettysburg, Ken, too, is they have a policy, Airbnb policy.
Well, I know they did.
So, and you have to go through the whole criteria for them to qualify as an Airbnb. They have a thing in Gettysburg, they have a 30-day rental. So if you rent something over 30 days, that's long-term rental. These Airbnb all fall under short-term rentals, which is another whole avenue of how they get income from them and how they govern what they do and don't do. But most townships in Adams County doesn't have anything. So these guys are buying houses as a whole, and they're converting them into Airbnbs. And then we have, I know 4 or 5 right now that I know of in Liberty Township. And like you said, they went through the process and they've done all this work to make them Airbnbs, but they didn't get a single permit to do it. So.
We also don't have anything in our ordinance that requires inspections of rental properties, long-term, right? There's nothing in our.
No, we do have in our ordinance, which we talked to before, any rental properties in our township supposed to be getting inspected, but they're not. That's not happened, has it, Wendy?
No, they're not even registered, nobody's registered their rental.
Yeah, we have
an ordinance that says you're supposed to register your rental and let us know who's living there.
Yes, but then nobody's
Nobody's ever done it.
Yeah, they're not complying with it. So how do we address it? Because we know for a fact how many places, we don't know them all, but we know places in the township that have rental properties and they have apartments. We have apartments in our township and no one's complied with that at all.
Well, I know that I have a rental property in another municipality, and I have to do an annual inspection, and I do not have that in Airbnb because they require, for that short-term rental, as you pointed out, it's a whole other set of hoops that you have to jump through.
Correct.
Yeah, so, but then that puts the enforcement side on the township, which, right, you put the ordinance in place, but who's gonna go out and enforce it?
Right.
And then what's the cost, benefit, reward on?
Gettysburg hasn't enforced the person.
Yeah.
Because I had rental there, and so
Yeah.
they came in every 2 years, they did their inspection.
Right.
And then,
That's just a
and
resource.
every year you had to say who's in there.
Yeah.
Right, and that's, that's the whole, So anyhow, this is something, when you go back to the planning board, and Wendy will type up something for you guys and give you something to look. It's just, we need to start giving some thought about how we wanna address this stuff, or do we even wanna address this stuff? Because it is popping up more and more and more all along. My biggest thing is like these, we keep telling these people they can't have accessory buildings and their parents can't live on their property and all this other stuff, but we got Airbnbs popping all over the township, we ain't doing nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's got, it's like, so anyhow, I'm gonna get off that box wagon because we'll be here all night for that. So secretary, treasurer, do you have? Okay.
Nothing.
We're gonna move on to, there's nothing under old business, under new business. Do I have any comments under new business?
I got one.
Sure.
The Office of Aging,
Yes.
there's, like you said, there's a lot of old people here.
Yep.
And myself, I mean, I use those guys completely.
Yes.
So anybody deserves something, there's the Office of Aging, that's just one person's opinion.
Okay. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We know you're old.
Hey, I got my cave drawings in
That's your question.
photographic albums.
So how's your wife?
She can't remember.
She's good. All right, we go this way all the time, in case you don't know. All right, we're gonna go to number A, consider a motion to join the pickup PA event, and the part of the Great American Cleanup, runs from March first to, May the 31st. We do this every year, and, so what happens is, once we join this program, I go into Gettysburg, at the state, shed, and I get, trash bags, I get vests, gloves, different things that you can utilize to walk around the township and pick up trash, and then we come through with the pickup truck unless you bring it over to the dumpster. And, if you set it on the road, we'll gather that all up. And so this program is gonna start March the 1st, it already has started. And, so, anybody in the township that would like to participate, you just come to the township, and we'll issue you trash bags and the attire you need to go out and pick up along the road. We definitely appreciate anything you do to help, in that, pickup, PA.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
one question, that, total, accident happened right below my house, part of the car is still in the, woods.
oh, really?
If I bring that out to the edge, could it be
Yeah.
picked up?
Yep, absolutely, yep.
The car's down.
Well,
The cars.
pretty good sized pieces.
Absolutely, yeah, we can do
Okay.
that. B is consider a motion to donate the police car, to the Office of Aging. Go ahead.
I just need a vote that we are joining. That-
Oh, I'm sorry, I make a motion that we join the pickup PA.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but I
That's
didn't
okay.
realize we needed a
It's
motion.
okay.
All right, so the thing of this is we have, an old police car, old white police car, it was 2016, we bought from the Gettysburg Police Department, when they were upgraded. That car is, been a challenge since we've had it from the beginning, but anyhow, it's here. We have a brand new police car that will be coming in here, hopefully by May, we'll have it on the road. So we have all three of, the new, we have a 2020,
No, we got a 19, that's
2019, we got a 2023, that's
23.
23,
Yes.
and we're getting a brand new car, here in April. Matter of fact, we already got the car, but it's out being, worked on, upfit and stuff like that. Now, so this fourth car we don't need, and it's like, okay, what do we wanna do with this? First off, what we did is we called out, reached out to the local fire and EMS system to see if they would like to have it for fire police. The response I got back from the fire police was that they don't need a car, they need a truck. They don't have a truck, they got a car. So anyhow, so what do we wanna do with this car? We wanna put it on a municipal bid, try to sell it. Well, we could do that, but then we have to go through the process of setting up a bid process and then entertain people coming and looking at it, and all this other stuff. And then you pay a 9.5% fee to the municipal bid to advertise it. And so I go on municipal bid all the time and look at these things. These cars are bringing like $2,500, $3,000. So really, how much are we going to get out of it? Not a whole lot. So the other one is I reached out to Adams County Foundation. And the Adams County Foundation, what they do, they deal with a lot of nonprofits throughout the entire county. And I talked to them about it, and they put out a mass email to all the nonprofits throughout the county that may benefit from a car. We didn't have anybody really say they wanted a car. So I reached out to the Adams County Department of Aging, which we had a presentation in here back in January, I think, or whenever it was, in December. It was very nice. They told us about the residents in our township get benefits from the Department of Aging, and you know, she gave a really, really good presentation. So that being said, I asked them if they were interested in the car. They said, no, they're not really interested in the car because they don't provide transportation. But they're part of the Adams County Foundation. And she said to me, she goes, you know, if you donate that card, to the Adams County Foundation and you earmark it, the money to go to us, then they'll give us the money for the card. And all we have to do is take it over here to the Gettysburg Auto Auction, drop it off, they'll sell it, they'll earmark it for, to the Department of Aging and send them a check. So, do you guys have any other ideas you wanna do with this card?
That's a great idea. That's what I would do.
Yeah, simple, stupid.
Sounds like a
stupid,
motion.
simple.
So I'm,
Sounds like a
is
motion.
that a motion?
Yeah, motion that we drop the car off.
And earmark it for the Department of Aging.
And you're working for the Department of Aging.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My card.
Well, it's
And before I get off the card deal, I do want to say, the card that we got coming in was donated by Tripwire. Ryan Morris, he bought this car, outfitted it the whole 9 yards, about $68,000 in total, and donated it to the township.
Man.
So we're very, very fortunate that Tripwire has joined up with Liberty Township and our police department and doing a lot of funding. Of course, you guys heard about the helicopter car. It doesn't stop there. He's bought all new body cameras for all our police department.
ARs.
AR, he's bought
License
AR,
plate reader.
license plate reader. He's also went and bought all new computers. So this man has really dedicated himself to Liberty Township. We're very blessed that he has chosen us out of all the other places he could have chose, but he chose us. And so I want to give him kudos for that and make sure that he's acknowledged that he has really dumped in the last year or so a lot of money to Liberty Township.
Is he a resident?
How much that?
Is he a resident of the
No,
township?
he is not. He's a resident of Howland Township, but he works for us part-time in policing.
Okay.
Is how he came about. So anyhow, like I said, the new car's coming in is totally because Ryan saw the need and has stepped up and donated his car. So, all right, the last thing on the agenda is consider a motion to continue the electrical cleaning, which is they come in every other week. Is it every other week?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, they come in and do a cleaning here. Didn't they raise the price?
I will confess, I did encourage them to do
Yeah.
that. It was $85,
Yeah, they raised it by $10.
but it's still under all the bids we got last year.
So, I'm gonna make a motion that we continue our contract with electrical cleaning services for $95 every 2 weeks. I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
All right. The only thing I have left that I wanted to bring up, this is something Wendy and I are working on at the moment. If you have a holding tank in here in Liberty Township, we're trying to figure out how many people in Liberty Township has a holding tank versus a regular sewer system or a septic system of tanks that gets pumped out. So we're just trying to get a number on that. So far, I think we found out about 3 or 4.
I have 7 now.
7 of them.
Yeah, but I'm still researching.
Yeah, so she's doing the research, but if anyone knows, because I know this is video, if you're watching some video, please contact the township, that we can get a list of people that have actual holding tanks. They get pumped out either monthly or bi-monthly, because I do know some of the things that's been going on is Carroll Valley has been pumping, the pumping's been happening in our township, and they've been dumping it at Carroll Valley under a contractual agreement. But some things have changed in Carroll Valley as far as their carrier. So we want to make sure that our residents have the option to dispose of their waste accordingly in a proper way, but not be in a position where they're financially strapped, so to speak.
What are the requirements to have a septic tank?
or I mean a holding tank.
Well, legally, you can't have the holding tank in every township or the state of Pennsylvania. These things were, things that happened back in the '60s, and they're grandfathered, so we can't do nothing about it.
Or if you have, a repair and you cannot put, yes, he's right, if you had a grandfathered in septic system that would not qualify today, if it fails, you can't replace it because your property isn't the right size or doesn't perk, and the only option left is holding tank. Or else we have to tell you, no, you can't live there, we condemn your home, and you wouldn't want that. They're permitted under those extreme circumstances as emergencies only.
So that's where we're at, and like I said, we're not trying to come after you because you have a whole tank or anything like that. It's just trying to make sure that if you have to, you have to have the pump. Some of them are monthly, some of them are bi-monthly or whatever. Some of the residents were contracted with Carroll Valley, to do that, but, Carroll Valley has changed their hauler. And, anyhow, we're just trying to figure out what's the best for the residents that they have to do this. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. All right, make a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
Good meeting.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Richard. Hey.
You slide that down, Barney?